Most of the time, when people argue with us about the evil of abortion, they make some attempt to rationalize it.
They're not even technically human yet.
And they don't have like thinking brains. These babies have jobs and families.
Now, this is easy to handle because their arguments are flawed, and it's a simple thing to just point that out.
So you don't believe science then?
So human beings that don't think as well as you should be murdered?
That doesn't have any bearing on their value. I mean,
all of these are feeble attempts to make abortion appear as if it's a moral good, and that opposing it is a moral wrong.
You guys believe in murdering women.
what little boy?
Very rude.
It's also very insensitive.
Well,
They don't
there's
care.
a lot worse situations.
They want that.
But how do you respond to someone who doesn't even try to rationalize their wickedness? Someone who makes no attempt to defend evil, but simply embraces it.
Walking around with baby horses? Hey, this is the modern day
Do you get one of these?
Holocaust. Yeah, is it? Yeah. This happens every day.
Do you want these?
Thousands of babies a day throughout the United States.
Yeah, it's crazier than showing it. What we think is that it still happens, like that, and with abortion pills and different do-it-yourself abortion methods.
Yeah, because that's like damn near fully formed, man. That's pretty fucked.
So this is a baby that's 20 weeks old.
20 weeks old.
But we would say that taking the life of the baby that's 20 weeks old, who generally speaking is very unlikely that they would survive outside of the womb, is equally as atrocious as taking the life of a baby who's 20 days old.
Yeah, it's kind of dead on arrival.
What do you mean?
Well, it's just like it was like dead. It was like gonna not make it already coming out, so they kind of like just took photos of it, right? Or is that like an actual,
This is-
like some chick?
Yeah.
Really? Man?
Yeah.
That's still pretty metal, dude.
What do you think about abortion?
What do I think?
Do you think it's ever okay?
I think it's okay.
Yes.
Man, I don't know. I'm not a father or anything like that. It's not really up to me. That's more of a lady thing, to be real with you. But also, I don't know. Yeah, I don't really give a shit. It's kind of not my thing. I don't have babies. I don't plan on having babies. I mean, if somebody wants to have a child, and that's up to them to have a child. If they want to not have one, that's fine too. I do think they should practice safe sex.
So,
like, not try to like have a child, have a child out of wedlock or some shit. Be like, shit, I don't want this or anything. That's kind of fucked up.
let me challenge your thinking on that just a little bit, because I'm looking at what abortion does, and it is absolutely taking the life of a human being.
Yeah.
Every single time, every single abortion, regardless of how old that child is.
Yeah.
You say that as a man, it's kind of a look up to the woman, it's not your thing, and say, I don't know this is exactly what you said, but say you don't like children, you said you don't have your own.
Yeah.
You don't really have a perspective on it.
Yeah, that's it.
But my friend Derek here, he is a father, but even if he wasn't, I would say that he actually has more responsibility, even more than I do, to step up and challenge our culture when he's living in a culture, both of you are living in a culture that murders their own children.
Gotta be a second. You're good. Yeah.
So if you looked out your window and you saw your neighbor taking a bat to their toddler's head, would you have the same perspective as what you said to me just now? Like, you don't care.
Yeah, I don't care.
If you in that scenario where you saw your neighbors taking a baseball bat to their toddler's skull, would you say the same thing?
Yeah, if it's not up to me, that's up to whoever.
You would just let them kill their toddler in their front yard.
Yeah, man, I'd let you kill this guy. I don't fucking know him. I don't know that child. I don't know any of those people. It's their own fucking thing.
That's really dark.
Yeah, but I mean, so is fucking that.
No, I mean, I agree. I would say it's all murder.
Yeah.
But I guess let me ask you this: like, do you have a problem with murder? Do you think that it's good that we have laws against murdering you?
I think people are gonna do as they please, anyways, whether I would like it or not. The most I could do is try to avoid as much conflict as possible. I think that, if somebody's going to go out of their way to kill me, the only thing I can genuinely do is just defend myself. I can't stop somebody from doing that.
Now this little child cannot defend themselves. They can't even run away, which is why, as Christians, we believe that, thank you guys, we believe that we have a responsibility and a duty to rescue those who are being led to slaughter, like we're commanded in Proverbs 24.
What about everything else and everybody else, man? That too?
Well, what do you mean?
Well, like, it's not just abortion, but like, just like, you know, the child getting beaten with a bat, and like, you know, the kid that's working in a slave camp right now are not even here.
Yeah.
You know, like all those kids, it's a whole thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So as Christians,
pointing out just abortion.
because this is legal murder that's happening. So if somebody were to come and kill you, say you weren't able to fight back, say they were able to catch you by surprise, they tied you up and then just killed you.
Yeah.
That would be illegal in our culture, in our nation, there's a process to bring justice to that person that killed you. That's not the case with these humans here. Yeah. But what you're saying, what you're talking about, like the atrocious slavery that's happening and like other instances of abuse,
yeah.
As a Christian, I actually have a foundation for saying why I am against all of that.
That's
so
good.
Because every human being is valuable because we're made in the image of God. What unbelievers will say is that these things are atrocious, but there's no foundation for that. Like apart from Jesus Christ, you actually don't have any equal value of humans other than your own arbitrary standard, which like I said is arbitrary. And if our culture just like gets to decide like who we want, which humans we want to value or not, we will have these atrocities,
yeah.
Like that we see in history and this atrocity today.
Yeah. Sure.
I guess I would just challenge you, like, I'm Rachel, by the way. What's your name?
Tristan, man. I know it's not a challenge.
Tristan?
Yeah.
Well, it is, and it's a really great discussion. I appreciate you having it. What I do want to challenge you with, Tristan, is I don't think, just from your conversation today,
yeah.
I don't think that you're right before God. And the reason I say that...
I'm not at all, yeah.
Yeah, and the reason that we're here is because we're seeking to obey Christ when he says to love our neighbor as ourselves.
Yeah.
But our love for Christ is because he first loved us and he reconciled us to God and made us right before him.
Yeah.
So until that happens in your heart, you will have a very...
pessimistic.
Yes, pessimistic and like, you know, that attitude of like you don't actually care about the murder that's happening in your society.
What you call it?
Just like severe apathy, right? Yeah.
Yeah, man. Well,
and that's a worldview that is in rebellion to God. Right now, like, you're absolutely in rebellion to God. And my prayer for you is that God would change your heart towards him, that you would be made right before him.
I think God would be indifferent to it.
God is not indifferent towards anything. Yeah.
I mean, then why does he allow that to happen? Why does he allow anything to happen? Why does he allow you to hurt people or kill anybody or do whatever you please, man? You know, I do understand that free will is a part of that, but I mean, at the end of the day, that's still just people doing the thing.
Well, at the end of the day, God does require an account for every deed that is done, every word that is spoken, and he will execute justice because he's the just judge. And so at the end of the day, even though we don't see, like, God's ways are far beyond our ways, so I don't know the intricacies of what God is doing, but I do know that at the end of the day, he is just and he will require you to give an account.
Could be.
It's true. And so I would my exhortation to you is like, get right with God. Like, but you're not. You're not. When you stand before the just judge.
But like, how are you to judge somebody on what's good or bad? Like, that doesn't make any sense.
Here's the interesting thing.
Up to a higher power. Then like, why are you here to judge someone else on their view of abortion or murder or whatever the fuck it is, dude? They're just doing their thing. And if God truly does love these individuals, why doesn't he just follow through and be like, hey man, go do your fucking thing? That's what the whole point of free will is. The fact that somebody has the ability to do this is what I believe is the gift of God. The fact that somebody has the ability to go do whatever they want, like that.
To go enslave other people, to go and take a baseball bat to their children.
Yeah, fucking the children, their pet, their wife, their mother. Whoever.
You're taking a problem, you're saying like, who am I to judge what is right and wrong, what's good and bad?
Yeah.
What you're doing in this entire conversation is that you're doing that. You're saying you're talking about the slavery as things that are bad, but you don't have a foundation for.
That is perfectly fine. That has no issue with whatever. I don't have anything against that. Like I said.
But you also can't. But you can't have like you have no foundation to even say that me judging is wrong.
So
because you don't have there is no.
I'm not allowed to view or judge others. That doesn't make any sense.
No, I'm saying hear me. Outside of God's moral law, that it transcends every single culture and time.
Transcends your culture and time through your religious view. Yeah, sure.
I'm saying it objectively does.
No,
but hear me.
That doesn't work for everybody, though. Dude.
Well, not everyone. God says
the same thing for Muhammad.
Hear me. Hear me on this.
Buddhist natures or however that is going through. That doesn't make fucking sense, dog.
God says that He's made every single human being with knowledge of Him. He's written His law on your heart, and you have knowledge of Him.
Well, if you wrote
but what you do, Tristan?
Why would they be so vicious to each other? Why would He allow
because
people to do that?
And this is. Let me answer that. Let me answer you, man.
Yeah.
So He says that what you're doing and what people are doing when they're living and viciously towards each other, they are refusing to honor Him as God and give thanks to Him. And what He's saying they're doing is that He says their foolish hearts are darkened. Yeah. Claiming to be wise, they become fools. He says that you and people in this category who are currently enemies of God are suppressing the truth of God.
So He is the enemy of God?
Yeah, God says that there are two types of people.
Bro,
I know, it's serious.
I figure something
it's serious.
valuable would never have an enemy.
It's serious. There are enemies of God and there are children of God.
Yeah.
And why I'm talking to you right now is because I want you, Tristan, to become a child of God.
I'll never be a child of God. Not so long.
Unless God changes your heart.
No, He's not. You know how I know He's not? Because I don't care enough for Him to do something like that. And I don't mind, going out with abortion or anything, talking about your thing, but I do believe you should separate your religion behind what the fuck is going on. That doesn't make any sense to me, dude.
Well, you're not doing that. You're not separating your beliefs from.
That's because I don't have.
Like that's not true. Your beliefs inform every aspect of this conversation. Nihilism, that's what you're like.
That's an existential
serving yourself.
That is an existential view. An existential view can change on a whim depending on how you choose to live your day, how to choose to live your life. That's not a religious thing. I'm not looking at a book and saying this are the core values of how I'm going to decide to live my life. I'm doing that based off a day-to-day basis on what good or bad decisions I have made throughout it.
Were you wanting to say something, Derek?
But your basis of good and bad, where do they come from?
My morality, where that comes from? That comes from my own understanding of what I've done in my life, what I have lived and realized was good or bad.
You're making yourself to be God.
You're making yourself God.
Yeah.
But God has an objective standard. That's the difference. He has an objective standard, not a subjective standard.
Okay.
And that's what you're going to be judged by when you die.
Man, I hope He judges the shit out of me, dude.
Oh, He will.
Oh,
you wouldn't, if you knew what that meant, Tristan, you wouldn't say that.
Oh, no, dude.
Even
if I think I did know it, I don't think I would want to live in a world like that, man, to be real with you. That sounds fucking...
You're either a slave to your sin and a slave to death, or you're a slave to Christ and righteousness.
We're all a slave to death. We all die. That's not us all, dude.
But I'm a slave to righteousness in Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Let's get out. I gotta go.
Thank you for talking.
Thank you. You guys get all fine. Do you have one too?
Yeah.
Nice.
Do you want one of these?
Man, I love you guys. I hope you have a good day.
I hope you do too, Tristan.